A microphone, foam on the walls, a laptop open on a desk, no producer counting anyone into a segment, just a podcast recorded in the same 7 days that a 21-year-old from the Philippines was taking the Washington draw apart, one seat at a time. And into that microphone, Rennae Stubbs said the sentence tennis has argued about ever since: Eala's serve will never win her a Grand Slam. Never, not this season, not at 25, not at 30, never. Not an anonymous account with a cartoon avatar, not a pundit reaching for a number that would travel, not a line she softened an hour later when the replies arrived. She said it, she named the exact shot, then did something that made it land harder. She named a second player with the same flaw. Which makes this bigger than one quote, bigger than 1 week in Washington, bigger than one young player's feelings about a bad review. Because this is not a verdict about heart, not about hunger or nerve or whether Alexandra Eala wants it enough. Stubbs never questioned any of that. She pointed at one shot, the second serve, and argued that this one mechanical fact sets a ceiling no effort can lift. Before the final, you need to understand something about a second serve that almost everyone watching gets wrong. It is not about double faults. If this were about double faults, the argument would already be over. Start with who is talking because that is why it stung. Rennae Stubbs was the world #1 in doubles in the year 2000, 60 doubles titles, 4 Grand Slam doubles championships, 2 more in mixed. When Serena Williams played her last US Open in 2022, Stubbs was in her box. When she says a shot will not survive a fortnight, she is not guessing from a sofa. She stood on the other side of that shot and hit returns off it for a living. Here is the mechanism the highlight reels cannot show you. At a WTA 500, you play 4 or 5 matches in 6 days, all best of 3. A vulnerable second serve leaks points, but there is a floor under how much it can leak, because the week is short. Players win titles hiding it. A major is a different machine. 7 matches, 14 days, and the same weakness stops leaking and starts compounding in 4 ways. First, free points. Every soft second serve is an invitation, and elite returners accept it. They step inside the baseline, and the point starts with you defending your own service game. You are not losing an ace. You are losing the initiative 40 times a match. Second, the damage travels backwards into the first serve. Once an opponent treats the second ball as a target, she stands closer to the first one too because the cost of guessing wrong has shrunk. Third, service games get long. Deuce, deuce, deuce again. Over one afternoon, that is an inconvenience. Over a fortnight, it is an extra hour on your legs, and legs decide second weeks. Fourth, the returners do not thin out. At a 500, you might meet one player who truly punishes a second serve. At a major, you meet her in the quarterfinal, the semifinal, and on the last Saturday. Nowhere left to hide it. That is the argument. Now hold it against Eala's week. She beat Zheng Qinwen from a set down 4-6, 6-4, 6-1. She knocked out defending champion Leylah Fernandez 6-2, 7-6. She beat second seed Elina Svitolina 6-3, 6-4. Then Naomi Osaka, a 4-time Grand Slam champion, 6-4, 6-2, in a little over an hour. The woman with the fatal serve did not drop a set after the first round. She is world number 28, a career high, unseeded here. The first Filipino ever to reach a WTA 500 final, still chasing her first tour title. Last year in Miami, she beat Iga Swiatek, Jelena Ostapenko, and Madison Keys in one fortnight as a teenager. So on 1 week's evidence, Stubbs looks wrong, which is where the second player matters. Exhibit A is Jessica Pegula, and the diagnosis is precisely the same. I think it's also what's holding Jessica Pegula back. Pegula's second serve is very vulnerable against players who hit the ball hard. I still hope she can win a Grand Slam, but right now, I simply don't see it happening. Read that with today's schedule in mind. The player Stubbs picked to illustrate the ceiling is the one Eala must beat this afternoon. Pegula is 32, ranked number 3, chasing a 12th career title. She reached the US Open final in 2024 and lost to Aryna Sabalenka, and made another major semifinal at the Australian Open this year. She has reached the second week again and again for half a decade. She has never won one. That is what Stubbs is really saying to Eala. Not that you are not good. Pegula is unarguably good. The warning is that being this good, this long, with this exact hole is a documented way to spend a career 2 matches short. Exhibit B is the control group. Victoria Mboko, 19 Canadian, currently out with a medial collateral ligament injury in her left knee, and Stubbs believes she gets there. Once Victoria Mboko recovers from her injury, I believe she has the skill, the audacity, and the confidence needed to win one. Then further, she doesn't get nervous, she just goes for it. There are still many parts of her game she can improve, especially her serve, and technically her forehand can get even better, but it's her confidence that makes me believe in her. Notice the concession. Mboko's serve needs work too, and Stubbs says so herself. So the line she is drawing is not really technical. It is about what she thinks each player will risk. Eala answered it herself in Washington without a trace of defensiveness. I think that my serve can be uncomfortable. I think I try to play around a lot with variety. Then the line that reframes the debate. I think it's also a good thing that I don't rely on my serve alone, although I'm standing by that it's dependable sometimes, and on whether 200 kilometers an hour could ever come. Who knows? I'm not going to put a cap on my serve. Maybe I will one day serve 200, you never know. Here is the honest counter-argument, and Stubbs raised it against herself before anyone else could. Her own words. I know people could say the same about Angie Kerber, but I feel that's what's holding Eala back. Angelique Kerber, a serve nobody on tour ever feared. 3 major titles. If the mechanism were an iron law, Kerber does not exist, and the record of pundits fixing the ceiling of a 21-year-old is poor enough to be its own video. But do not mistake Eala's answer for a rebuttal. She did not say the serve is fine, she said she does not depend on it. That is a game built to work around a weakness, and it is precisely the game Pegula has played beautifully and unsuccessfully for years. When these two last met in the Miami semifinal in 2025, Pegula won 7-6, 5-7, 6-3 past midnight. Eala led by 3 games in the first set and could not close it. 1 match, 1 loss, and the winner waits again. So today is not a referendum on whether Eala is talented. Miami settled that, Osaka settled it again. Today asks something colder. Whether what works across 6 days can be trusted across 14. And a title this afternoon does not disprove Stubbs. She never said Eala could not win titles. She said majors, which is the cruelty of it. Eala can win everything in Washington today, and the verdict stands waiting for New York. Some ceilings get broken, most just get postponed.